Perivale station is one I've always quite liked, from its island platform to its sweeping brick exterior, and is where I'm starting my walk in West London today. But before I head this way, there's something I want to see this way. Nearby you have the terminus of the E5 bus route here at Perivale Tesco, which looks to be quite a fancy one. But if you head up there and around the corner, you'll see why. The Tesco is attached to the Hoover building, a magnificent Art Deco structure. While the Tesco is at the back of the building, the front of it here has been converted into apartments. It's just a shame that it's right beside the busy A40 road, but something to look out for if you're ever travelling along this road. So I've looped around and crossed underneath the railway line, and I've come up this little trail to the entrance to Perivale Wood. Now, I'm not going to be able to go in Perivale Wood, and I knew this, because it's basically only open for like 1 or 2 days every year on special open day events. Maybe something to come back and do another time on one of them specific days. So just north of Perivale station you have the Grand Union Canal, specifically the Paddington arm of it, and I've done a walk along this before, not the entire stretch of it, just a bit from Paddington Basin to here at Perivale, and also a small section of it as part of the Capital Ring before the Capital Ring heads up to Horsenden Hill, which is over that way, a place I would like to return to. And this stretch to Bull's Bridge in Hayes is the only bit of the canals in London I've not walked, and we're not even going to do it today. I'm actually going to go along the section I've already walked back towards Alberton, which is about 1.5 miles that way. Well, that was a delightful morning stroll along the canal. I'm going to come off of it now as we approach Alberton, but we will have another small section of it later on, which is going to be very different to the more rural stretch we've done now with trees and a golf course. It'll be a little bit more industrial. I've come into Alberton Cemetery. Whenever I pass by a cemetery, I like to pop my head in and go up to the chapel building, as that's the real centrepiece of this location. And usually they're not in very good condition, but this one is, to be honest. It looks quite nice. I'm really glad that the sun has come out. Feels like it's the first time this week that the sun has been out, and you get a great view from here on One Tree Hill of Horsenden Hill over that way. Going back to that another time. But also of Wembley Stadium over there, the new developments surrounding it, and that is actually where we're going to be ending our walk today. So it's great to get a view of it from I say near the beginning, but we've already done a good 3 miles or so, 3.5. And there's also a trig point here. You don't come across these very often. Great to see, with a great backdrop of Wembley. Heading into Alberton properly now, and the last time I was here a couple of years ago, this location was the site of a bus garage which had just closed, and it was a derelict site. And 2 years later, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's just huge tower blocks here currently being constructed. Completely different view the last time I was here. And a couple of years prior to that, when I was walking the canal section to Perivale, when I passed through here at Alberton, this Lidl had just opened up. But I remember previously that it was a college which was closed at the time. And with all the new development taking place around here, Alberton Tube Station is probably going to get a lot more passengers soon. Quite like this station building. It's a huge kind of box-like shape on the Piccadilly line, Uxbridge branch. And just up the road from Alberton Station, you have a Hindu temple, which looks magnificent, especially basking in the sunshine right now. Seem to have come to the other side of the canal towpath now, in another brand new development. This site used to be the Northfield Industrial Estate. I saw that still written on a road sign that hadn't been updated yet. I've no recollection of this area from when I would have walked along the canal 4 years ago. I have no idea what this would have looked like, but it's yet again another massive new development here in London. This new development though seems to have signs which are incorrect. We've just come from Alberton Station, which is a Piccadilly line station only. So why is there a National Rail symbol up there? And also, it's a purple roundel. That would mean it's on the Elizabeth line. And then you have a London Underground sign there with 3 different coloured roundels. I understand that's identifying the Bakerloo and the Overground at Stonebridge Park, but yeah, that Alberton one, if you're going to do that, really should be blue, not purple. And then literally across the road from the new development in Heather Park is a complete contrast. Just rather grim alleyway behind some not nice houses here, which are just filled with rubbish. Completely different. There's this strange path to Stonebridge Park Station, which is right beside the North Circular Road and takes you beneath many different railway bridges as you have the main line out of Euston here. But if you ever take this path, try and look out for an old signal box which can still be seen. It actually looks like it's been done up recently with a new paint job. Can't really see it anymore, there's too much shrubbery in the way. But there is an old Network South East logo on that sign up there. I remember it from back in the day. Well, here it is, Stonebridge Park Station on the Bakerloo and what is now the Lioness line on the London Overground. It's a rather pokey little station. It's not as grand as Perivale or Alberton. I'm back on the Grand Union Canal for a smaller section this time up to the next station on the line. It's nice to be on the canal now after all of them busy, noisy roads, even though this section is a lot more industrial, like I said it was going to be. It's still nice to be on the canal, isn't it? And I find it funny that I did this first half of the Paddington Arm about 4 years ago, and I've still yet not gone and done the second half, especially if we're redoing little parts of the first half today. But it's nice to know that at some point, whenever I fancy, I've still got a section of London Canal Walk to go and do from Greenford to Hayes. And we bid farewell to the canal for today as we reach Harlesden by the Grand Junction Arms pub. That's actually the previous name of the Grand Union. It was the Grand Junction Canal. And from the grimy smell of the canal to the beautiful smell of chocolate here in Harlesden by the canal, you have a McVitie's factory. Oh, it's so good. Really smells good. If you thought Stonebridge Park Station was a small one, well, how about Harlesden? This is a ridiculously cramped, claustrophobic station in the ticket hall, and quite possibly my least favourite on the whole underground network. Across the road from Harlesden Station lies an entirely separate railway line known as the Dudding Hill Line, but this doesn't see any passenger trains anymore, just freight trains. And there used to be a station here that wasn't called Harlesden. It had a much longer name. I would argue a contender for probably longest station name in London. Harrow Road for Stonebridge Park and West Kilburn Station. I mean, that's just ridiculous. There are plans to bring back passenger trains to this line though as part of the London Overground network. The plan is just known as the West London Orbital at the moment, but considering that the Overground now has different lines and names, I wonder what one this one will get. Taking a little tucked away back alley, which has brought me out to Taylor's Lane Power Station, which has 2 magnificent chimneys jutting up into the sky, which looks quite nice with the blue sky backdrop. Also, I can see the Wembley Arch peeking through as well. I've seen that several times today, but right now, yeah, this is impressive. There's one thing to know about me, it's that I love a good power station chimney or cooling tower. Just impressive industrial structures, really. We've not had just one but two temples on our walk today. This is the Swaminarayan temple near to Neasden, equally as impressive as the one in Alberton. They're really magnificent structures, these are. Despite having the majestic structures of the power station and the temple nearby, the most famous building around this area, I would say, is the Wembley IKEA. This is one of the few in London which I've not been to before, so of course I got distracted and ended up wandering around there for a time, because who doesn't like wandering around an IKEA, or should I say IKEA, the wonderful everyday. Well, I'm on to the final section of the walk now, which will finally lead me through to Wembley. And I'm crossing over the waters of the River Brent here. I do know that there's a Mitchell Brook, which is a tributary of this, which runs nearby. And back at Stonebridge Park, there's also a Wembley Brook, which comes off of the River Brent here, but I didn't get to see it. And seeing it's just beginning to get dark, hopefully that means we'll see some of the Christmas lights around Wembley Stadium. Moved on up into Sherrin's Farm open space. The cloud has come back over, but in here you get a fantastic view of Wembley Stadium itself, though not as much of the actual arch. We're much closer to it here than when we were earlier on One Tree Hill in Alberton. Welcome to Wembley Stadium. A light here for Wembley Stadium. Yes, and you can see the stadium from the station here. But what I didn't realise for a very long time was that the station's bridge, the archway in it, literally mimics the actual stadium's arch. I'm surprised I never noticed that before. Definitely made it into Wembley properly now. There's a full moon up there by the arch. I'm going to take a little wander into the London Designer outlet here. I've always liked wandering around Wembley Stadium, especially at Christmas time with all of the lights and trees out. Standing outside of the Wembley Arena, the other events venue here in Wembley. I've come to Wembley a few times at Christmas. The first time was back in 2019 after I rode the extended 440 bus route, which terminates in Wembley now. As I passed the arena here, I saw this strip lit up with all of the Christmas lights when I was on the bus, and thought, yeah, I would quite like to walk up there and have a look. Walked through to Sudbury and Harrow Road after that, which is London's least used station. Came here again in 2020, just after a day of exploring random places in around this part of London. 2021, I ended a walk here that started at St John's Wood, and in 2022 I ended a walk here that started back at Harlesden actually, and I did do another stretch of the first arm of the Paddington Arm towards Willesden Junction, but I've broken the streak. I didn't come here in 2023, but I'm back here this time. But in previous years, not in 2022 though, there was a fantastic LED Christmas tree which you could kind of stand in the middle of and it would play music. That's not around anymore, unfortunately. That was kind of the crown jewel of Christmas at Wembley. It's a shame it's not here anymore. There is a market here at Wembley though on the build up to Christmas. We've only got one more weekend if you want to come and visit this yourself, but it does have a magnificent Christmas tree here. That's a worthy replacement of the LED one. Well, there's the iconic shot of Wembley Stadium at night time. It's kind of it now for our walk today. It's going to walk down this Grand Avenue, Grand Boulevard to Wembley Park Station. It looks long, but it really isn't. I love this timeline of history that you get here in Olympic Way. just teaches you so much about the history of the area. London's first outlet centre, new national stadium. Picture of the old one down there with its iconic towers and its entrance. Winning the World Cup in 1966, where the Olympics was hosted in 1948. There's a lot to learn. Ah, Watkins Folly. I forgot about this, yeah. This was a tower that was going to be built here, which was planned to be bigger than the Eiffel Tower. That would have been cool if this was here. And we go all the way back to the Saxon period where Wembley gets its name. I guess the only remaining thing to do is to walk up the 90,000 steps to Wembley Park Station. And then turn back at the top to get one final shot of Wembley Stadium. Thank you for watching. And as it's getting dark,